Just start with some team news. There is a bit of a list here. Esteban, Reece James, Romeo Lavia, Jamie Gittins. How are those guys all progressing for them?
Yeah, Reece is absolutely fine. Romeo Lavia is getting stronger and stronger. We had a mini practice match in the week where he looked really good in, which is great for him. Unfortunately, Este will be out for a little bit longer, and Jamie's progressing really, really well in terms of his rehab.
Anything else to kind of update us on in terms of team news at the moment?
No, Cuckoo is progressing really, really well, but he's not available for Sunday, but hopefully we get him back in as quickly as possible. Levi's doing really, really well with his long-term rehab, so at the moment Dario's back on the training pitch as well as Sugo, which is good, and hopefully we can get all of these players back and fit for the running of the season.
PSG in the Champions League. They're the European champions, but this club obviously has a decent record against them recently as well in the Club World Cup. How do you react to that draw? So
excited. PSG are a fantastic team. Obviously I have experience of playing against them in France. They're a team that I've always admired. I think Lewis done an incredible job there. These are games you live for. These are the games that you come into football for, and it's going to be a great tie between two fantastic teams. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it, but we've got another 3 games before that I need to focus on.
How's Wesley Fofana, and how have you been kind of dealing with that situation this week after he did receive that abuse after the game?
Yeah, it was a tough, obviously a tough day for Wes. Firstly, obviously what happened in the game. Secondly, the fallout and the racist abuse that he got online. Wes he's a tough guy. He's a good guy. But it's amazing. You spoke about racism last week in the press conference, and it affects you in ways that it just shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist, whether it's online, whether it's verbal, in person. It's just something that we have to try our very best to eradicate from life, let alone football. But Wes is absolutely fine. He's trained well this week.
Chelsea did record a pre-tax loss of £355 million for the financial year 2024-25. In terms of your job though, is it going to affect anything in terms of having to sell players? Have you spoken to the club above about how these losses potentially affect your job and what you do?
My job is to focus on the team, is to try and make the team and the squad as strong as possible to eventually win things. That's why I'm here. I will have those conversations with the ownership and the guys above me, but that's something that's not really at the forefront of my mind. I just want to make sure that on the pitch we're as successful as possible.
Some interesting comments from Maheta Malonga yesterday from the PFA. He specifically mentioned Cole Palmer when talking about player welfare. He said he'd been here in the summer and saw how tired the players were from the schedule that they sort of had to undertake, but especially Cole Palmer. Just wondered what you made of those comments, especially relating to Cole.
No, obviously you want not just Cole. Cole's a magnificent player. You want every player in football to be at their very best, to be at the top of their health, to be able to give the fans what they want to see. They pay a lot of money to follow us, to watch us. But in terms of getting involved in that stuff, I think you speak about the Club World Cup, and yeah, it's been a difficult schedule for the players, but I don't think any of them regret that experience, which was an incredible experience for them and for the club. You want to find a balance. Do I have the answer to that? 100% not. So I understand it from both sides.
Just finally from me, there was some criticism after the previous Arsenal game in the Carabao Cup in terms of tactics. Does it almost suit you at this time a bit better to actually use those tactics in this game? And just wondered what you kind of how you go into this game approaching that.
No, I think for large spells of the game, you're always disappointed to lose out to one of your London rivals in a semi-final of a cup competition. Yeah, I think there were availability issues. Not an excuse, it's a fact in both games. The first leg, I was here for 4 days. So we have to look at it with the right context. There was a really, really good structure about us without the ball. With the ball, maybe we could have been more front-footed in terms of going out to win the game. There was a clear idea that the players carried out very well. We didn't get the result that we wanted, and we want that to change on Sunday.
Thanks, Chris. Nev?
Hi, good afternoon. Good seeing you again. Mikel Arteta has been at Arsenal for just over 6 years. They had highs, they had lows. But in general, how impressed have you been with the support he's been receiving and how important that stability, especially for young managers in such a big club.
I've been impressed with him. The support he's received is because probably day in, day out, they see the great work that he does and they support the process with which he's worked to. They're an incredibly well coached team in every aspect of the game, whether they can press really high, they're compact shape in the low blocks, they're fantastic defensively, obviously set plays, they're well coached and they play very good football as well. They're an all-round very good team and that's why they're in the situation they're in at the moment. It's my job and the players' job is to try and find that weakness and try to enjoy what's going to be a really, really big game on Sunday.
Your upcoming league games, Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Everton, Man City, Man United, most likely the most challenging period you had so far since you joined Chelsea in the league. What's the mindset of going into this very difficult period and try to finish it with good results?
Firstly, is to take it game by game. I've had this conversation with you guys before. The Premier League is so difficult every week. The challenges that you face, the different tactical problems that you have, the physicality of the league. I don't judge one game as harder than the other. What happens against the higher teams in the league is they're more open because they want to attack more. There's different tactical things that you can work on. For me, I'm very happy with this group. I'm happy with the start that we've made. We've won 8 out of 12. It should be 10 out of 12. That's not bad. It's not bad foundation to start from. So we just need to stay confident and focused. But we have to just take each game as it comes.
Can I ask you specifically about 2 Arsenal players that scored against Spurs recently, Gyökeres and Chiesa? What do you think they've added to this version of Arsenal compared to previous years, offensively?
Well, I worked with Victor. I worked with him at Brighton's under 23s. Saw him come through to the first team there. Victor adds a degree of physicality, of pace to stretch the game in behind. And I think he's starting to build his confidence and he's shown he can score goals, which is what every striker wants to do. Eze, again, I've come across him many times. I remember watching him in the Championship then and thinking what an outstanding talent he is. They've got talented players throughout the pitch. They've got physicality throughout their team. And we know it's going to be a difficult game. What I would say is they also know it's going to be a very difficult game for them.
Thanks, Niv. Nizar?
Hi Liam. I just wanted to ask, it's going to be a very busy period again now. You've had the sort of 2 midweeks off and obviously there's a difficult run of fixtures. I think the Opta supercomputer said that you had the most difficult run of fixtures of any Premier League team for the last 11 games. I was wondering how you might handle the challenge of all these big matches in multiple competitions.
I'd love to see what this supercomputer looks like. I don't think about it in that way. It's the next game. It's making sure that the players physically and mentally as fresh as possible. Giving them the time off wasn't just about one game, it was about the rest of the season. Hopefully that will pay off. They've looked very good in training this week. We've got players coming back from injury as well, which is really, really helpful. So we just need to stay really calm, really focused and consistent in our process and tick each game off as it comes.
And it's really tight in the sort of run, the competition for the Champions League places, the top 5 it'll probably end up being. I was wondering how you sort of see that and how important is that in terms of all your goals in the season, because even in the press releases, which you were appointed and stuff, it was mentioned as being a target for the club. Yeah, this club should be in the Champions League. This club is a Champions League club. We just have to take it game by game. If you'd have said to any manager coming in, I think when I took over we were 8th, we're now in the race. We've won 4 and we've drawn 2, and the 2 games we've drawn we're in complete dominance of both games. That's the reality and that's the facts. So I like to look at that. It gives me confidence in the group that we can be successful in the short and long term.
Thanks, Nizar. Simon?
Hey Lynn, going back to Wesley, what kind of support has the club provided both him and perhaps any other players who were affected by it? And secondly, are you encouraging the players perhaps to come off social media?
To your first question, the players have incredible support, both on and off the pitch. They had a meeting with Dr. Mikel Bennett today, actually, about his involvement in the club in terms of helping them with anything off the pitch. In terms of social media, look, the generation now, it's a part of the younger generations, it's the part of their life. My children are on it, it's the way that they communicate, it's the way that they live. I'm a little bit older, so I've missed out on that, fortunately. The perfect world, players don't take notice of what's on social media, but the reality is they do, because they're human beings. It's very easy to write whatever you want with no consequence when you're on social media, and I hope that the players who are on it and do take those things in, take in the fact as well that it's just noise. It's a lot of people with a lot of opinions. Some are valid, some come from a place where it's probably not a good place.
And sort of getting back to football, in terms of your left wing options, of course Jamie's out at the moment. Alejandro's not started a league game, I think, since West Ham. How do you think the two of them have been getting on, though, just generally? I know Jamie, you've not had much of a chance to work with.
Unfortunately for Jamie, showed really promising signs, and then unfortunately got injured against West Ham. Garner's shown some really good things in my time. I thought his performance at Hull was very good. Scored 2 goals in Arsenal really early in my start here, and he's a very good player. There's a lot of tactical things as well. It's not just on those players, it's about finding the right function for the team. I played with one winger, I played with 2 wingers in some games. I have many different solutions I can use because I have such a good squad.
Thanks, Simon. Rob?
Hi, Liam. You talked on Saturday about learning about which players you feel you can and can't rely on. You've taken that up, I'm sure, with the players you had in mind. How have the squad responded to that assessment that you made on Saturday?
I don't know how they've responded to that direct statement. I don't know. What I will say is I really have enjoyed this week. We've spoken about, all of us, me first, being more accountable to consequence. The importance of when we're on top of games is getting that second goal, making the right decision in the final third, and again making sure that on set plays and on manageable moments we do better. Because in my time so far, I include the Arsenal games in this. We've been in every game. Mainly we've been in dominance and control of games, and it's not teams have had real dominance over us. We've just given goals away, and that's something that we need to really focus on if we want to be successful this year.
I'm feeling like you can't depend on a player sometimes necessarily to do what you ask. That feels like quite a fundamental thing. Like, it's not a technical issue, is it? Is that something that can easily be worked on?
Yeah, for sure. That every manager will say. I've been here for 6 weeks. Every manager will say you're making consistent assessments as you go. I'm learning about my group as I go. I'm learning about each individual, their strengths, what they need to improve, and it's a good time for me. I've learned a lot, but where we want to get to, we want to be successful this year, and there are going to be real pressure moments. There are going to be tough games. We just spoke about PSG or Arsenal on Sunday. There are going to be moments in games where we are going to be under pressure, and I need to know which players can stay calm, can stay focused, can stay consistent when those pressure moments come on.